Today I've taken a day off and I'm at Duxford Air Museum. Come to have a look at the pretty aeroplanes, a little bit of history, just enjoy a bit of engineering. And right now I am in the bomb bay of a Vulcan bomber. Just realised that we can go in the Lancaster, so I'm a little bit excited.
Hello!
Who are you?
Jeremy.
Who's Jeremy?
Me.
What are you to me? It's my nephew, he's tractor mad. What's this, Jeremy? A little RAF tractor?
This is a tractor. With a wheel up front.
I'm going to go and play in the Lancaster.
This is what we're going to be talking about. So these are old headlights. And then the front wheels. The back wheels aren't wheels. They're caterpillars. This is a wheel.
And here's one of my favourite aircraft, and it's a Sunderland flying boat. I'm not sure why, I just feel I like flying boats or seaplanes. I've got a thing for them. I think because I like the sea and I like flying. But this thing is awesome. Can't go in it, unfortunately. Lovely bit of art on the side of this plane. Here we have a B-17 Flying Fortress. I'm looking at the back of this Phantom, and there's a rugged raw beauty about the engineering in this. The engineering is just incredible. I've just seen this old American ambulance, and it's given me this crazy idea of getting an old classic vehicle like this, turning it into an Overlander. But trying to respecting its age and what it is. Not using modern equipment, just simple, and going on an overland trip. Just fun. So this truck here was General Montgomery's overland truck. Inside, got his bed, a bath, and this truck over here was his office. So Montgomery was well ahead of us with this comfortable overlanding malarkey. There's something special about old machines. I just want to touch them. Look at the lovely lines of that. This is a flying boat, quite an unusual boat. I just love that. It's beautiful lines. Yesterday I went to see some aeroplanes, and that was a nice little day out. Now today I'm going to be working on the Suzuki. I want to start using it, and it's had some fueling issues for quite a while now. Part of that is it had some old fuel in it, but I believe the injectors were clogged up, or possibly as a fault of this part. Just taking it out, give it a clean, and reinstall this, put some new fuel in, and hopefully it's going to go. But long-term plan, this bike's going to get a bit of a revamp, a bit of a paint, probably weld up a stainless exhaust, probably refashion a new mudguard, just pimp it up, make it a bit cooler, make it more customised to Matilda, just because I like playing. So that's the plan with the Suzuki. So after a few hours of welding, I have assembled one of the rear lockers. Quite pleased with how it's gone. Next I need to make the door, but I'm having a little bit of a tidy up first because I am still very much a novice welder. There are the odd bits that need a bit of a tidy up. So I'm going to have a tidy up, then I'm going to fit it to the truck, just like a dry fit, because later on it's going to come off and get painted. We've still got the lights. Lights are going to, this is the rear locker, so the lights are going to be here. It's possible I'm going to sink them into the locker, but I don't really want to lose this locker space, so that's a bit undecided. I think I'm going to put it on the truck and then work out what to do next. So I've got this cheap and nasty little metal bender here. This is premium aluminium. It's just not up to the job. It's really quite hard to bend. So I've cut a line using the circular saw. The bend line. I've probably cut the middle out. So it's still 2 mil. This little bender is still struggling with that. So we've got 31 degrees at the moment. You may see I've upgraded the handles on this. So this isn't perfect. It'd be nice to have a big folder, but this is one way to get around the job. So I'm going to take a little break from the welding and fit some locks. Now this is one I've already fitted today. This is a HEO-safe lock. Has a nice, good quality lock and decent key. Some of these locks you buy, the key is just basically like a screwdriver. So take a look at the key and it kind of gives you an idea about how good it's going to be. That's the lock in its position when you're in the truck. It's unlocked. It locks into that position, so it can't be messed about with, and the bolts are hidden. And that's the lock position. Now these are, when I fit into these to my truck, they're about £140. I think these were a little bit more for this truck. They come in black and white and silver. So I'm going to show you now how to fit these. When I fitted them on my truck, I actually put a metal plate inside, bolted through onto that plate. With this truck, it's double skin, very much like mine, but there's no access to get inside to that first skin. I could put bolts all the way through both skins. I don't fancy doing that. So we're going to use a little different technique to do this one, and I'll show you that in a minute. First job is to remove the ladybug away from the area we're working to save her life. So let's find her a home. So the first job is, or the second job after saving the ladybird, is to decide where it's going to go. As you can see, this piece overlaps the door. When you unlock it, it no longer overlaps the door. So I want to get this as close as we can to the edge. I've already made a mark. There's 4 holes here, so I've made a mark for one in the centre of the holes. And now I'm going to use a centre punch. If you don't know, I don't want to teach you things that you already know, but using the centre punch will stop your drill bit from wandering, so you get your hole in the correct location. So for the riv nuts in my pocket, we need a 9mm hole. Now I've just drilled this out with a 4mm, it's a pilot hole, and I'm going to put the 9mm hole in it. It just makes it a bit easier to do it that way. Now I've got a hole here, and this is obviously steel, so the riv nut should clamp up tight and seal that up, but I like to go belts and braces, make sure everything's good, and it's better to do the job, put the extra effort in first when you do the job, and then just have to do the whole job again. So I'm going to put a little bit of sealant just to seal up the steel. Painting will be good, but it's such a small bit, and I'm just going to use some sealant. And I'm also going to put a little bit of sealant around the outside of the hole, again to stop any water trying to get inside. Okay, so now we're going to use what is essentially a riveter. So the M6 cap heads I'm using, they're slightly bigger than the original fixings supplied with this. Fixings supplied are only good for screwing into timber or GRP. So these M6 won't go through the hole, so we're going to drill these out ever so slightly. It's always best to secure your workpiece. I'm going to do it by hand because I'm a hooligan. So I've got one bolt in now. It's best to do one at a time, I find, because it's very easy to get your hole locations wrong and find that they don't all line up. And that is the hardest part about this job, is getting all your hole locations right and lined up. So that's about square. I've just marked my hole. We can slide that to one side and do this. Again, start with using a centre punch. And a pilot hole. This is this actual rib nut gun, or what do you want to call it. It's branded Clark. Now, I actually believe the Sealy one, the Clark one, and a few others on the market are all exactly the same tool. I think this was about £30. Two lined up now, and it's still managed to keep it square. We'll mark our third hole. That's quite understandable that you're going to be scared about drilling holes in the side of your truck. I can perfectly understand that. But once you've got to realise that there's nothing you can't fix, you kind of get the confidence to just put holes in things and not worry, because there's always a solution to fix the problem you've caused. Right. Hopefully the alignment is right, but if it's not, there are some solutions. The more holes you make, the more likely you are to find your alignment getting a little bit out. And this top one is out just a little. Don't force it in, and definitely don't use an impact driver to screw them in, because the riv nuts they have a mechanical kind of bond. It's like just like a rivet. If you start trying to drive that, rotating it, you're just going to break that mechanical bond, and you're going to end up with a bolt stuck in a nut you can't get to. There are ways to get them out, but it's a real pain. So I'm going to show you another way to fix the alignment issue. Let's remove this. So we've already drilled these holes out to 6mm to allow our bolts through. Now that one is ever so slightly out of line. We're talking maybe 0.5 mm. So we're going to put a 7mm hole in this corner. And that's going to leave us a little bit of clearance to locate this in the right place. And I think we're going to put another 7mm hole in the opposite corner as well, one we still need to do. So let's do that now. So we're going to put this back on now and mark the last hole. As this is the last time we're going to fit this on, we're going to include the rubber gasket that comes with it. I'm going to advise doing these up. If you use riv nuts, do them up with an Allen key. Something that you can't put loads of force through, because you don't want to break that riv nut loose. So the alignment is ever so slightly out, so I'm going to fix this. I'm going to drill the remaining holes out 7mm. Now I could have done that to start with, but maybe that's what I should have done. But I tried to work as precisely as possible. I think if you had a 7mm hole to start with, then your hole locations, the mark you make, might have been a bit more off. You might have ended up being out a bit more, and then having to drill an 8mm hole to achieve what you want. So always try to work as accurate as you can. And this gives me an option to drill them out and have a bit more movement. If any of the bolts become difficult, don't force it, because as I said, the riv nuts may slip. Once they've slipped, you won't tighten it and you won't undo it. And job done. We have a lock and this door won't open. So nice and secure. Now obviously you can go in the window if you're determined to go for the window, but it certainly adds a level of, it's that additional barrier does add some security. These locks, they're old. This is built in '86, I think. It wouldn't take too much to probably do that with a screwdriver. So they're nice and secure, and I think they look really nice, which is why I have them on my truck. So I'll add a link to this down in the description, and I'm going to add a link here on my website to where you can get these. And it's actually an Amazon link, but if you go to my website, I will receive a very small commission. Hardly worth it, but it makes all the difference. Makes making these videos all possible. Now there are other versions of this lock on the market from different brands. There's a sliding one. Personally, I think this is the best looking. I looked at lots of them. You do pay a bit more for these ones, but they look good. They don't take away from the... They make the truck look better, if that makes any sense. Last tip. Make sure you remove all the steel filings or spoof from your paintwork, because it will go rusty and it will leave a little rusty mark on your paintwork, which you'll probably never remove. So I'll get a brush and brush that off.